Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree offers Hades fans a similar action roguelike experience, but with a Japanese coat of paint. Currently in development by Brownies Inc. game studio and published by Bandai Namco, this cozy-looking hack-and-slasher is likely to capture the imagination of younger audiences. Brownies Inc. has already cut their teeth with a Doraemon farming sim called Doraemon Story of Seasons back in 2019, so comfy is guaranteed. Take a swing at the demo with us in our first look at Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree.
After getting flashbanged by the Eula and rightfully recommended to use a controller, we are presented by the backstory to the game's conflict and introduced to the titular Towa, a daughter of the gods and an eternal child. Towa is the extension of a mountain god Shinju, kinda like Yahweh and Jesus. She befriends and protects the people in a nearby village, selecting 8 individuals with colorful characters, the Prayer Children, and blessing them with an existence outside of time. No matter how grave their injury, they will always come back, ready to fight another day alongside Towa. Not even death can yank them out of their time loop. After an unnecessary convoluted explanation, players will be able to play through a tutorial level. The game may be presented like Hades, but it plays very differently. The most important distinction is that each run is done by 2 people. The game can be played solo or co-op, both couch and over the internet, but there are always 2 characters being played on screen. Before the start of a run, players have to select 2 of the Prayer Children. Each one has their own attack pattern, elemental affinity, and corresponding spells they can cast. That's 28 possible combinations before spell upgrades. Spells are relatively simple. You pick 2 from your spellbook before your run and cast them to your heart's content, only having to worry about cooldowns. Some even have autocast. Melee is slightly more complicated. Instead of having a light and heavy attack, you have 2 swords with their own attack patterns. Each will need to be sheathed after a certain number of attacks land. Otherwise, their attack power will be reduced by half. After unsheathing, though, that counter is reset. What complicated things further is the game's refusal to use English terminology. The melee fighter is referred to as Tsurugi, the caster, Kagura,
Suguri wields Onzachi and Wakazashi to slay the Magahori and Magatsuhi.
So when you receive a grace, Towa's version of Olympian boons from Hades,
you better brush up on your kanji if you don't want to pick up on the wrong upgrade.
all of this confusion could have been avoided if the game spent less time trying to present the story in a very long-winded manner like some slice-of-life anime. Even more time could have been shaved off by getting to the point. Everything takes just a little too long for no reason. Every screen transition hangs on to a new scene for an extra 3 seconds. Every dialogue repeats at least one sentence twice. Every dialogue repeats at least one sentence twice, and feels empty on the whole. Even the forging minigame takes too long. Basically, the game is very padded. I've not seen this much padding since I spent the year in a loony bin, locked up with a copy of Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus. And that man knows his padding. His writing is, padderific. Much like this game, which is filled with padding, especially the dialogue. There are 3 possible explanations for this: poor writing, poor translation, but the most likely culprit is the fact that dialogues had to be written separately for 8 different characters. So it's no wonder that some of the lines seem identical when the characters are presented with, say, a shop or a boss, and the following lines are repeated. "This creature is sure to be mighty. This must be the leader of the Magahori we faced earlier. We will not waver. We will hit him with all we've got. At last, we stand before the Magatsuhi. Let's go!" And as overdrawn as the smithing minigame may be, 12 minutes if you count the tutorial, it was interesting to learn about every step of how a sword is made. Plus, it lets you get away with the worst decisions in terms of design. But as long as you bring in good materials and do well at the minigames, your weapon will be as effective as any other God-forged katana. You can do this and perform all sorts of preparations between missions. Given the ancient Japanese mythological aesthetic of the game, it is very reminiscent of Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, or Monster Hunter Rise. Your craft weapons put skill points on each prayer child's skill tree, eat gourmet food for temporary buffs, shop, talk to villagers. It's all very slow and methodical, and this may be the intended tempo. Perhaps yours truly was stubborn and rushed to the action like Earth and Fire instead of letting the game set the mood like Air and Water. If you're the type of gamer who enjoys taking it easy and nurturing in-game relationships with NPCs, then this is a game for you, as you'll have a lot of fun. The fairy tale soundtrack can help set the mood, but unlike Odin Sphere, the setting is very kid-friendly. Talking isn't mandatory and can be skipped if engaged. However, you'll want to talk to everyone you meet, since every interaction rewards you with permanent upgrade materials out of thin air. There's even a dedicated fireplace spot before each boss where your Suguri and Kagura can talk to each other. Remember, 28 player character combinations. Finally, after lots of padding, we get to the gameplay portion of this preview. The core combat still feels as hollow as the dialogue. There's no weight behind your strikes, enemies rarely get staggered, and the telegraphed attacks get lost under all the visual-less effects of combat. It's very easy to lose health, and these types of games are often centered around damage mitigation rather than trying to hit the enemy as much and as fast as possible. If you try to take the latter route, you'll only find a shortcut to a game over screen and have to restart the run. You can't cancel out of animations, and enemies can sometimes turn on a dime, so previously telegraphed area of attack can appear right under your feet while you're charging for a backstab. Boss health bars can be unreliable too. An enemy spawner had to struck at least 5 more after his giant health bar was completely empty. Wrangling 2 characters at once is a hassle as well. The caster often stays behind and tanks a fireball you just dodged. Aiming their spells is unreliable too. Sure, you can manually control each character with the left and right analog stick, but this will take time to get a hang of. The demo ended before you could test this further. After beating the first boss, the demo locks up, preventing you from going on another expedition, forcing you to forego all of your possible upgrades and delete the save file. But it's just a demo, and your progress will not carry over to the full release anyway, so no sweat. Towa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree may not be the best action experience in our preview, but if you take the time to connect with its world and characters, you can have a lot of fun and just may enter the comfy zone. Regardless, we're definitely looking forward to its full release.